So Super Troopers 3 was directed by Jay Chandrasekhar, and it stars the Broken Lizard Troop once again returning as these characters from the first two movies and taking place after the events of the second movie. Thorny's sister is about to marry Farva. If you've seen the movies, you know who I'm talking about. And Thorny doesn't like that, so he tries to sabotage the wedding any way he can. Meanwhile, the Super Troopers themselves are caught in the middle of another drug ring that they try to stop. So this was a movie that I was not looking forward to. I did not grow up with the Super Troopers movies. I did not watch these movies until just a few weeks ago just to prepare for this movie because the trailer itself did not really entice me that much. It looked fine-ish, could have been funny, I guess, but really nothing that really excited me. Nothing that would make me go out to a theater to see this movie. But I still wanted to give it a chance because there was a idea that I had where it's like, I remember not really liking the Jackass movies when I was younger, and it wasn't until I saw it with a crowd and such in a movie theater, and I thought, okay, I can actually kind of see the appeal of this, so maybe if I go and watch Super Troopers 3, maybe I can enjoy this movie a little bit more than maybe I would have expected to, because I'm watching it with people who are also very excited for this movie. And is this a movie that's actually very good? Is this a movie that I had a good time with? No. This movie has a few funny moments every now and then, but I'm gonna be real. There is not a whole lot about this movie that worked. Let's start off with a few things that are okay. As far as the performances go, no one, well, there's one person, but I'll get to them later. Most of the performances are solid. Like, you can definitely tell that they're having fun making this movie. But the two people that actually stood out in the movie were Brian Cox, who he returns from the other two Super Troopers movies, and he was the only person in this movie who I thought was consistently funny. The other person who I thought was actually pretty funny was Chase Crawford. Who would have guessed that the guy from Gossip Girl, and you know, he was from Gossip Girl, and now he actually is a decent actor. It's like, okay, you can actually be funny and such. You were decent on The Boys. You're actually funny here. And again, no one in this movie is necessarily awful. This is not a movie I look at and go, okay, are the performances going to be award worthy and such? No. But you can definitely tell that they were having a good time making this movie, at least, so there's that. And I would say that there are funny jokes every now and then, but I would say that the jokes themselves, they don't. They start off strong. Strong is a strong word. Like, I was laughing more in the first act than I was by the end of the movie. I would say the first act of this movie, I was laughing about half of the first act, so about a sixth of this movie. Then in the second act, I think I laughed less than I did in the first act. And then in the third act, I don't think I laughed at all. It's weird that I'm doing math for a movie like this, but that's kind of how I view it, because like this movie, I'm measuring this movie because of how much it will make me laugh. And if I'm laughing less and less as the movie goes on, I think that's a problem. It just needs to be consistent. And I just felt like this movie wasn't consistent. This movie just became less and less funny as the movie went along. And the thing is, it's not like there are really like any strong belly laughs from this movie. Like, you know, at least with the first Super Troopers movie, I'm going to remember the meow gag. I'm going to remember the Leader Cola gag. But I'm not going to remember the majority of the gags from this movie. I think there were times in this movie where I was just like giving like a light chuckle. And it wasn't even like that funny. Like, I saw it earlier today, and I'm even struggling to remember like the stuff that I saw from that movie that made me laugh. That is bad. And also, I think there's way too much going on in this movie. Like, each Super Trooper has their own thing going on. Like, Farva's planning the wedding. Thorny is trying to sabotage the wedding. Someone's getting into a fight with their girlfriend. Someone is upset that they're no longer the rookie. Someone else is doing other things. And I just felt like there was way too much going on. This movie is just about an hour and 44 minutes, which I think is a little too long for this movie. If this movie was 90 minutes, I don't think I would bat an eye so much. But the fact that each character tries to have their own story, I felt like it dragged the movie on. Like, I felt like if this was like a concept for a TV show, it would work a lot better, and I'm pretty sure that there is something that was based off this. I think it was Tacoma PD or something like that. But it definitely felt like Super Troopers, the TV show. Also, now while I said that the actors do an okay job and it's clearly fun for all of them, the only actor who I thought did a, not, I feel bad. The only actor who I thought did a terrible job was Hannah Simone, which is a shame because I liked her on New Girl, and I felt like she just did not match the energy of the other characters, and I felt like she was just not giving the same amount of like. I just felt like her character presence was just like. I felt like her character didn't really do much in the entire movie. Like, she has no personality. I felt like her line reading was just off. I found it more interesting when they were interacting with Thorny's parents rather than Thorny's sister. At least there's something there. At least they were kind of getting involved with the action and such. But her character, not so much. I felt like this movie may be only for Super Trooper fans only, and for me, it just didn't really work. So overall, I will say Super Troopers 3, it has a funny joke every now and then, and I will say that Brian Cox and Chase Crawford are the only actors who kind of do a good job in this movie, and you can definitely tell that they had fun making this movie. You can also tell from the blooper reel from this movie. And also, I will say that the movie just becomes less and less funny as it goes on. There's way too much going on. I felt like Hannah Simone was very wasted in this movie. I felt like the actions between the Super Troopers and Thorny's parents were more interesting than his sister. This is a movie that I feel like, again, this will only really work if you are a fan of the other two movies. And for me, this just was not it. I'll give Super Troopers 3 1.5 out of 4 stars. Stream it. So, what is your favorite comedy movie franchise? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Stay safe.